And moving on to the topic of marriage and family life. These are, of course, tough issues in our modern society as divorce rates are increasing. And now a new book by partners Todd Jacobs and Yosef Lin, Not a Partnership, tries to tackle the issues with consciousness. Joining me now is co-author Todd Jacobs, who is in Jerusalem and joins us by Zoom. Hello, and thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Of course, and congratulations. I know this is like the culmination of many years of life work for both you and your partner in the field. But to put this book together, I know it's a whole different muscle putting your knowledge, into print. What is, you think, kind of the main nugget of what this offers and why, kind of understanding Judaism and spirituality kind of creates a new kind of model on how to work on relationships, or not new and old, but elucidating it for people that have not been on this journey?
That's exactly right. Look, we live in a world where the survey data would tell you that most people grow up wanting to get married. It is amongst the top priorities, if not the single top priority that most people have in terms of what they dream about for a meaningful life. And unfortunately, as we know from the statistics and from just personal experience, most people really don't have much of an idea anymore how to successfully define a marriage, how to achieve it, what their job is in that process, how they're supposed to work towards it, if it's worth it. They don't really know, and they don't have good role modeling in many cases, because many people grew up without sparkling relationships in front of them that they were able to view, growing up amongst their parents and their friends' parents. And so we have almost a catastrophic situation where half the people wind up divorced. And of those who stay married, a very, very small percentage of them actually have very, very good marriages.
Like a lot of marriage books, there's a million of them out there. Everyone has a story to tell. But, you even say it talks about more of the how, not the what and the why. And we know as spiritual people, the laws of nature, cause and effect. I myself have studied Kabbalah a long time, and the whole idea of souls and the male and the female soul and how we all have aspects of both. What are some of the key, kind of some of the takeaways, from Judaism, if people were to really understand it, how that could be a game changer for them in their relationships and partnerships?
Absolutely. The way, by the way, the book is constructed, we have the first section is basically dealing with three big paradigm shifts that you need. The second half of the book is basically practical implementation of how you actually make it work in your marriage. So maybe it's worth just focusing on what we believe are three paradigm shifts, which if you don't make these paradigm shifts, you don't have them in place, it's almost impossible to succeed. And if you do have them in place, we really believe it's almost impossible to fail. So paradigm number one, let's define what a marriage is, okay? First of all, let's start with what a marriage is not. Marriage is not, and this is the strange title of this book. We call this book Not a Partnership. And people are always scratching their heads saying, like, one second, I thought marriage is a partnership. So the spoiler alert is that if it's done correctly, it's the most amazing partnership there is. But my own background is in business. I was on Wall Street for many years before I shifted careers for the last 16, 17 years to become an educator. And one of the things that I found in my research back then was that in the world of business, most partnerships fail. And they don't fail for the reason that you think they fail. You would think they fail, bad product, no financing, something like that. And in truth, that's not it at all. Most partnerships fail because the partners spend all of their time assuming that they're doing their job and then looking over the shoulder at the other partner saying, what are you doing to keep up your end of the bargain? And that is a very toxic dynamic in that relationship. And as a result of that, most partnerships fail. That, unfortunately, is the mindset that most of us go in from. Again, we're educated in a secular world. We have a Hollywood vision of marriage. And so we kind of go into it, what's in it for me? And what are you going to do for me? How are you going to take care of me, make me happy, etc.? And when we have that view of, hey, I'm doing my share, but you have your rights and your responsibilities, and you're not holding up your responsible end, that's toxic.
Well, and right, that just plants the seed of dissatisfaction that only grows and grows if it's not dealt with.
So what we have tried to define is kind of a Torah-based vision of marriage, which is a union of two people who, by the way, frequently could not be more different.
Two imperfect people, right?
You got it. And two imperfect people who couldn't be more different than each other commit themselves to building something bigger than the two of them. in which I view my job is to give you the life that you need, want, and deserve. And you hopefully are committing to giving me that life that I need and deserve. But if I'm focusing on my responsibilities as opposed to my rights, and you're focusing on your responsibilities, and each of us is keeping the other at the center of the concern and the idea that I have to act in the capacity as a spouse that you need me to be acting in, that's a different vision of marriage. That's a vision of marriage, which is that I'm here to basically help you have a great life, and in that process, I get a great life, and in the process, we build something bigger than either one of us could possibly have by ourselves, and that creates that ultimate unity. So that's what we would call that the first paradigm. It's just get that through your mind, that it's not about, hey, what are you going to do for me? And I'm sitting and waiting for you to serve me and take care of me. And if you don't do that, then I'm disappointed in you. That's paradigm number one. Paradigm number two is, I think, one that flies really against the kind of, let's call it the secular mindset, and unfortunately one which has crept into marriage everywhere. And that is that marriages just sort of happen. Great marriages happen. We even have a phrase in English, I fell in love. And, the classic Hollywood story is, they see each other across the dance floor or wherever they are, and her hair is shaking and he's so handsome and dapper. And boy meets girl, they fall madly and passionately in love. Then for some reason they're broken apart. And then at the end of the movie, they always fall back into each other's arms and the curtain drops. And you and I both know that is called chapter one. In Kabbalistic terms, that would be called the inspirational phase, which is given for free. But then in reality, the next day when that curtain goes back up and it's act two, scene one, that's where marriage begins. And anybody who doesn't understand that really that first romantic, magical phase is given as a free gift to get you involved with this person, to get a picture of what you could have, right? But that's given for free, and it's temporary, and it goes away quickly. After that point is over, and that usually ends relatively quickly, a person has to make a decision, which is, wow, am I now ready to build and make real and earn that same thing that I got for free before? It's much harder, it takes much longer, but it's mine, and we can actually earn it, and we can do that together.
It's amazing. And also, God is our partner at the end of the day. So when you're committing to being on that path together, it doesn't also have to be so heavy and intellectual, because that's kind of the journey of fusing souls together, that, kind of you get to the top of the mountain, but like God will roll the rock, right? In a way, like that's partnering also with the Creator.
You got it. You need that help. But if you don't focus that I'm going to be a part of this and I'm not going to wait for it to happen, I'm going to make it happen, and that love is formed by giving, not by taking and receiving. Though that, by the way, that's the third quick paradigm, is that you love where you give, not where you get. You put those three things together, it's almost impossible to fail in marriage.
Wow, amazing. Congratulations, and really, kol hakavod. From Wall Street to, writing books, saving marriages, and creating good marriages. Thank you so much, and next time we'll see you in